Okay, so on the lesson 4 practice problems, first thing we're going to do is just go over what you guys have, and then we'll discuss them. For number 1, first you are drawing a diagram, correct? Yeah. What should every single person's diagram have? Labels. If you do not have labels, take a second and add them in. Jake, what should my 2 labels be?
Red and green.
So red.
Cups.
So it's cups. Red cup is cups is like a cup of paint.
Yeah.
Okay. So red in cups, and what was the other one?
Green.
Green. Come on. I just froze. Gotta wait for my button to come back. There, see? She just needs a little loving sometimes. Green. And I have lots of G's. There we go. Green cups. Okay, red cups, green cups. What else should I have? Leo?
Different, like you have to have shapes to like describe how many.
Okay. And did it give you 1 batch?
Yes.
Okay, so it gave us 1 batch, and what did it ask us for?
3.
It asked for 3 batches?
Yes.
Okay, so we should probably use the same thing they used, but why is it hard for us to use their picture on our paper?
Because we can't color it.
Yeah, because it's the same shape, we don't have color, so how could I show the world that those top ones are red and the bottom ones are green, Jake?
I put red ones as squares and green ones as circles.
Okay, so you changed it. Hallie? Okay, you could shade one in. You could say that this one's RRR and put G's in the other. As long as you just make them different, it works. So as long as you did something to them. So if you didn't do anything, I like just shading one of them in, just to show that they're different. And if I have it clearly labeled, everyone knows that my shaded in squares are red, and my unshaded in squares are my greens. So that was 1 batch, and we needed 3 batches. So what should we have done?
Double it times.
Yeah, do it 2 more times. Shade them in. And did number 1 just ask you to draw it?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, draw a diagram that shows 3 batches. So your number 1 should have just looked something like that. Number 2 said Diego makes green paint by mixing 10 tablespoons of yellow. I'm going to go ahead and write that. 10 tablespoons of yellow and 2 tablespoons of blue. Which of these mixtures produces the same shade of green paint as Diego's mixture? Select all that apply. Okay, so we are trying to see if they're equivalent to 10 over 2. So first, let's just look at 10 over 2. If you gave me that as an answer for a fraction, what would I tell you it needs done to it? It would need simplified. So we know that that equals 5 over 1. That may help us later on, it may not. What does A say, Dom? Because we have to check it. What does A say?
For every 5 tablespoons of blue paint, mix 1 tablespoon of yellow paint.
So 5 blue and 1 yellow. Looking above, is it 5 blue and 1 yellow? Owen, why is it not 5 blue and 1 yellow? It is 5 yellow and 1 blue. Is that the same thing? No, they would result in different colors. So A is out. What does B say, Tatum? Hold on, talk a little bit louder.
Mix tablespoons of blue paint and yellow paint in a ratio of 1 to
So blue to yellow was 1 to 5. Is that how it's said?
Yep.
Okay, is that one correct? So blue is 1, yellow is 5. So that one was a yes. You should have had that one circled. And again, that's why I have to physically write it out when I see it. So I can say, yes, this is the same, or no, it's different. So I can visually see the exact same thing or something different. Emmy, what does C say? Yellow and blue, 15 to 3. What do I have to do before I can answer that question? Leo? Okay, I could simplify 15 and 3, or I could build up 5 and 1. Okay, either way would get us there. If we reduce this, we can reduce it both by 3. So it would be 5 to 3, or no, not 5 to 3. 5 to 1 if we divide them both by 3. Or here, if I'm trying to get yellow to 15, I can do times 3 times 3, and I would get 15 to 3, as long as my yellow to blue matches. So 15 yellow, 3 blue. Does it work out? Yep, so C should have been answered or circled. D. Isn't there a D? Hallie, what does D say?
Mix
11 yellow and what? 3 blue. If I have 3 blue, we already said I would need how many yellow? 15. Is that what that says? Nope, so D is out. So the only ones you should have had circled are B and C. Does that make sense? Okay, number 3. Number 3 says to make 1 batch of sky blue paint, Claire mixes 2 cups of blue. So 2 cups of blue with what, Jake? 1 gallon of white. So not only are they mixing colors, but they're mixing the measurement tool also. So you get a whole gallon of white paint and you put 1 cup of blue paint in there. Why does that make sense though?
Because a gallon is more than a cup, and sky blue is kind of like a whitish.
Yeah, a sky blue is a really, really light blue, like my sky up there, okay, over my light. Does it make sense that you would use 1 cup, a small amount of a dark blue paint, and mix it with a whole lot of white to make a light blue?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay? So that's the perfect sky blue. Explain how Claire can make 2 batches of sky blue paint. So for A, Ellie, what would she have to do to make 2 batches of that sky blue paint?
Multiply it by 2.
Yeah, she'd have to multiply each of them by 2. So what would she need?
4 cups of blue, 2 gallons of white.
4 cups of blue and 2 gallons of white. If you just said 4 blue and 2 white, are you correct? No, the labels are extremely important. Okay? Part B says, explain how to make a mixture that is a darker shade of blue. What would I need to do to make it a darker shade, Elise?
We need to add more blue.
Yeah, I didn't need to add more blue. So you could have said 3 cups of blue to 1 gallon of white. Or you could have taken any equivalent ratio of 2 to 1 and then made the top number, the blue number, larger. Okay, so you would something about adding more blue. You need to add more blue. Did it ask for a ratio?
No, it didn't.
No, it just said explain. Yeah, so we just need to add more blue. Explain how to make a mixture that is lighter. How could we make a lighter mixture, Emmy? Add more white or
Decrease the blue.
decrease the blue. And in this one, we could have also increased the white. So this one, more white or less blue? Number 4, a smoothie recipe calls for 3 cups of milk, 2 frozen bananas, and 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup. Number 4. Ethan, read me those numbers one more time. 4 something. There wasn't a 4?
3 cups of milk,
Sorry.
frozen bananas, and
Hold
1
on.
tablespoon.
3 cups of milk,
Yeah. 2
Okay.
frozen bananas
2 frozen bananas,
and 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup.
1 TBSPCHSYRUP. Okay, and I wrote it like that because I know the labels are going to be important. Why for this one would I not be able to write a fraction as the ratio? Yeah, you can't have a fraction with 3. So if you have 3 different things you're comparing, you can use the colons or the word TO. Okay, we wouldn't write it as a fraction. I'm just writing it like that so I can easily see it. Okay, so it gave me that information. What did question A ask for? Meyer, read me question A.
A diagram to represent the qualities of each ingredient and the recipe.
Okay, so draw a diagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so first I need probably 3 different shapes. And what else am I going to need? Labels. Let's label first. I'm going to do milk in cups. I'm just going to write bananas because BANANAS. Bananas and chocolate syrup. And it's measured in tablespoons. So again, these labels are important. Lily, what did you use to represent your milk? Circles. Could you have used something else? Mm-hmm. Yes, but whatever your milk was, you should have had 3 of them. And it should be labeled out next to it so anyone that looks at yours knows that that's your milk. Jake, what did you use for bananas?
I just use squares. And milk, I use circles.
Okay, that's fine. Bananas, we can use squares. Chocolate syrup. Dawson, what did you use?
I used circles.
Okay, we already used circles, so what else can we use? We have circles.
Triangles.
Okay, we'll use 1 triangle for our chocolate syrup. So that is 1 batch. Is that all it asked for? Okay, write 3 different sentences that use a ratio to describe this recipe. There's probably 100, not 100, but there's a lot of different sentences we can use. Hallie, give me 1. Okay, the ratio of milk to syrup was 3 to 1. That is a good sentence. The ratio of milk to syrup is 3 to 1. Give me another one, Elise.
For every 3 cups of milk, there are 2 frozen bananas and 1 tablespoon.
That's what
Okay, so she included all 3. It's fine. So for every 3 cups of milk, there are 2 bananas and 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup. That works. Leo? Okay, for every 2 frozen bananas, there is 1 teaspoon of chocolate syrup. That works. Tatum?
I don't know if mine works, but for every 3 cups of milk and 2 frozen bananas, there is 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup.
Yep, and the only thing is you would just say for every 3 cups of milk, there are 2 bananas and you just, but it's close. Okay, anything else? Could I say for every 1 teaspoon of chocolate syrup, you need 3 cups of milk? Yes, tablespoons, sorry. Could I say the ratio of cups of milk to frozen bananas to chocolate syrup is 3 to 2 to 1? Yes. Should I just have that? No, that is not a sentence, okay? You have to tell me what that means. That means the ratio of milk to frozen bananas to chocolate syrup is 3 to 2 to 1. Okay, but you should have a sentence there, not just a ratio. Okay, but there's lots of things you could have put that would be correct. The only thing that would be incorrect is if you gave me something like that. Yes, must have some words. Okay, part C says write the missing number, number 5. It's a whole new problem. Number 5. It was a number line. And again, I'm going to show you the proper way for when they get harder. We had 0, blank, 6, blank, blank, 15. 0, blank, 6, blank, blank, 15. Is that as high as it went?
Yeah. There's one more blank. It's
Oh.
one more blank.
Okay. Okay? So pick any 2 numbers that you see. Okay, I'm going to pick these 2 because it's always easier here. Those are the first 2 numbers I see. What is the difference between 0 and 6, Jake?
There's 3 and 2.
I want the difference between 0 and 6. 6, because 6 minus 0 is 0. I'm just going to show it the long way. And that is broken into how many equal parts on my number line, Afton? 2. So I'm going to divide this by 2, and I would get 3. That tells me that I should be counting by 3. And again, it's going to get harder. So I'm going to keep showing you the long way for when it gets harder and you can't do it mentally. So then let's check. 0, 3, 6. We're assuming this would be 9, 12, 15. Does it work out?
Yep.
And then 18. So 9, 12, 15, 18. And I will show you, you could have picked any 2 numbers that it gives you. I'm going to pick the 6 and the 15. What is the difference between 6 and 15? 15 minus 6 is 9. And that one is divided into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. What's 9 divided by 3? 3. That tells me that each chunk is worth 3.
Which one would be easier?
I always pick the lowest numbers. Okay, turn the page to our favorite geometry problem. I'm going to pull the book up for this one.
They're easy.
I tried to
Base times height.
Okay, yeah, the shape is a parallelogram. Let me get rid of this. How do we find the area of a parallelogram? Leah. Base times height. Remember, for base, it can really be any side. But we want to find a side that we can count. Which side could we count how long it was, Dom?
The bottom.
Can you count the bottom on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can you not count the bottom on that? You cannot. Ellie? It's not laying flat. It's at a diagonal. You cannot count diagonals.
You can, because it's not a full shape.
Yeah, it's not perfectly corner to corner. So I'm almost there. So which side can we easily count how long it is, Afton? Yeah, the left or the right. So I would call that my base. So this right here we're going to call our base.
But the top, left, and bottom.
So our base equals 3. Or we could have called this one the base. It doesn't really matter. How could I find the height if those are my bases? Remember, height is the distance between my bases. Lily?
You can go from one of the bases and go straight across.
Yeah, I could go from here all the way, and I have to kind of connect it down there. But I have to count that distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my height is 7. The area equals base times height. We have 3 times 7, which is 21 square units. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have decomposed and rearranged.
That's what I did.
Yeah, you could have decomposed and rearranged. That's not the easiest, but it works. Okay, 7A. What'd you get, Dawson?
So I got 11/4.
11/4
2 and 3/4.
or 2 and 3/4. Both of them are okay. 7 times 1/4, Meyer.
7/4.
7/4, or that would be 1 and 3/4. 13 times 1/27, Ethan. What did you get for C? Yep.
351, but that's 90.
Nope, because it's a fraction, so it'd be over 1. So what's 13 times 1, Ethan? You made it harder.
13.
13, what's 1 times 27?
27.
27. So that was just 13 27ths. Jake, what'd you get for D?
I think I got it right, but 13, 190. No.
What?
13,
13 over 99, because 13 times 1 is 13. 1 times 99 is 99. Who thinks I got E? Tatum? Nope, you don't make up numbers. We're not magicians. We can't magically make up numbers. Hallie? It's just x over y. Because this is x over 1 times 1 over y. X times 1 is x. Y times 1 is just y. It's almost so easy it's hard. It doesn't seem like it should be that easy. Nope. Nope. You're not allowed to make up a value. Because y cannot be 0 because you can't divide by 0. It'll give you an error. Okay, turn the page. Turn the page.
Thanks, Butler. Thanks, Butler.
Turn to where you see 5.2.
That was good and bad at the same time.
What page are we on? 38. What we don't get done in here, you guys are doing for homework. So page 37, 5.2, tuna casserole. Says, here's a recipe for tuna casserole. 3 cups of cooked elbow-shaped pasta, 6-ounce can of tuna drained, 10-ounce can of cream of chicken soup, 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and 1.5 cups of French fried onions. This is Emmy's favorite, by the way, guys, if you're ever want to cook or anything. This is her go-to, right? Okay. Can you have any of that?
Tuna can. It is
Okay.
flavor.
Tuna is gross.
Okay, instructions. Says, combine the pasta, the tuna, the soup, half of the cheese, transfer into a 9-inch by 18-inch baking dish. Put the remaining cheese on top. Bake 30 minutes at 350. During the last 5 minutes, add the French fried onions. Let it sit for 10 minutes before serving. Okay, that is a true recipe. If you like tuna casserole, you can make that for your mom tonight. Super easy. Okay. Next, number 1. Now it's going to ask us questions about the recipe. What is the ratio of ounces of soup, to the cups of shredded cheese, to the cups of pasta in one batch? So go back up into the recipe. Find how many ounces of soup we need. How many ounces of soup do we need in the recipe? A recipe typically gives 1 batch. Ethan? 10 ounces? Yeah. So it would be 10. The word 2, I can put the word 2, or I could put what? A colon. I'm going to go ahead and put 2. How many cups of shredded cheese? 1. 10 to 1, 2. How many cups of pasta? 3?
Yeah.
3. So you could put 10 to 1, 2, 3, or it's probably best to put 10 colon 1 colon 3. Why would I not have to put the labels in my ratio? Ellie?
Because they're
Leo?
Say they're all on the same thing of measurement.
Yep, they don't all have the same label.
Is it because they're already in there?
Yeah, they give me the labels and the words in the problem, and it's just asking me for the ratio. Okay? So, number 2, how much of these 3 ingredients would be needed to make twice the amount of casserole? So, I'm going to start with this 10 to 1 to 3, because that's what the 3 ingredients we're talking about. How much would I need to make twice the casserole? What would I need to do to each of those numbers, Jake? To make twice the casserole. Double it. So what would my new ratio be?
20 to 6.
20
2 to
to 2 to 6. Good job. For part B, do you guys have more space than I do? A little. Sorry, that was 2A. That was 2A. For part B, I'm going to show a little bit more work because here we multiplied them all by 2. For part B, it says half the amount. What do we do if I'm trying to find half of something, Ellie? Divide it by 2. So we need to divide each of those by 2. We can give our answer as a fraction or as a decimal. So let's do the easy one first. What's 10 divided by 2? 5. Next one, don't overthink it. What's 1 divided by 2?
2.
You could either say, not 2, 1 broken into 2 equal parts. 1 divided by 2. Jake, stop. You could write it as 1/2, because that shows 1 divided by 2, or 0.5. Either of those would be fine. I'm going to write it as 0.5, but you could also write it as half, because if we're talking about food and the label's cups, half a cup is a cup that you could use. And the last one, what is 3 divided by 2? What'd you say? 1.5. Or 1 1/2. What about 5 times the amount? What would I need to do to all the original, Afton? Times 5. So what's 10 times 5, Afton? 50. What's 1 times 5, Tatum? 5. Dom, 3 times 5? 15. Now, for the last one, we're going to do it different. I'm going to write the original. I want you to write the original. If we're doing 1/5 the amount, if we're doing half the amount, we divide by 2. If we're doing 1/5 the amount, what do you think we're going to divide by?
5.
We're going to divide by 5. So I want us to show this. Just show over 5, over 5, over 5. And when I'm putting over 5, I'm showing divide by 5. That's more of a visual way to see the fractions. So now, what is 10 divided by 5? 2. Don't overthink the next one. What is 1 divided by 5? 1/5. You can leave it as 1/5, just like you see it there. What is 3 divided by 5? 3/5. So you could divide it out. 1/5 you would get 0.2, 3/5 you would get 0.6. They're both okay, but it's easier just to leave it as a fraction. The only time you can't leave it as a fraction is like on this one we would have had 3 over 2. You would have had to flip it around to a mixed number. Number 3, what is the ratio of cups of pasta to ounces of tuna in one batch? If I'm talking about one batch, where do I need to look back? The original recipe. Elise, how much pasta was in the original batch?
It had 3 cups of pasta.
3. How much tuna?
It had 6 ounces of tuna.
Okay, so 3 to 6. Okay, number 4 is going along with this, but it's a little bit different. Now we're focusing on pasta and tuna. Let me clear this and move it up real quick. So we said that this was 3 to 6. It says, how many batches of casserole would you make if you use the following amounts of ingredients? So we are starting with 3 cups of pasta and 6 ounces of tuna. Jake, how do I get from 3 to 9?
3 plus 3 plus 3.
Using multiplication or division?
3 times 3.
So times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Is 6 times 3 18? So how many batches could I make with those ingredients? 3. Next one, 36 ounces of tuna and 18 cups of pasta. What did they do to try and confuse me there, Owen? They flipped it. So I need to put my 6 by my 36 and my 3 by my 18. Dom, how do I get from 6 to 36? Times 6. How do I get from 3 to 18? Times 6. So how many batches can I make, Dom?
6.
6 batches. One cup of pasta and 2 ounces of tuna. So we had 3 cups and 6 cups. We're going from 3 to 1. How do I get from 3 to 1, Owen?
Divide by 2. No, 3.
Divide by 3. From 6 to 2, I divide by 3. How many batches? 1/3. Why, Dom? Because one batch is 3 to 6. But I have one batch divided by 3. So 1/3 of a batch. 1/3 of a batch. Okay. Flip over to the practice problems. Got to flip a couple pages. I'm going to give you a couple just to try. This is mostly old stuff. Darn it. Just try number 1. I'm just going to give you, yeah, 1, 2, and 3. For your homework, just 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Nope, your homework's just numbers 1, 2, and 3 on page 42. Hallie. Here, hold on, let me turn this off real quick.